Hello and welcome to Filmmaking Actually with Cora Linda. I'm Spacey, here to introduce part 2 of What Should You Know About Being an Actor or Actress Actually. Cora recently interviewed an award-winning actress who knows quite a bit about this subject, Merri Jamison. So if you want to go back and listen to part 1, then you'll be able to pick up right where we left off, right about here. So enjoy.
I remember when, back in my youth, acting was fun for me. I didn't really care about the auditions, so I used to get them all the time. Funny, I tested that theory actually recently, and I submitted to some of these little, the film challenge that we're doing. There was a bunch of casting calls, and I was like, I'll have fun. Why not? I'll just submit, see what happens. Every single submission I did, I got an audition for.
Oh, nice.
Every audition I did, except one, I got cast.
Yeah. See, it's a numbers game.
And the only one I didn't get is the one that I really, really actually wanted. It was the only one, was the one that I was actually really nervous about. And when I saw who they cast and how they cast it, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But it was just funny because I was like, okay, in LA it worked. I wonder if this is really a thing. If you just don't care, if you just go for it and whatever, here's.
Yeah. Because you notice it's the one that you were nervous about is the one that you flubbed. Yep. Right. No, you just kind of have to go into it thinking, because some of the best advice I ever got about auditioning was from a workshop. And of course, LA's got, I'm sure all across the country they do this too. We have the casting director workshops, and some of them are legit where you actually have really good casting directors who come in and are actually scouting, and they do pull people to audition. And then there's other ones that are just in it to make that $250 per person, and they don't really care. They're very paying attention. So I went to one, and she was hard. She was tough. She was no BS at all. She worked for a very high up thing. And she was pretty brutal to a lot of people. But one of the things, she gave some good advice, but one of the best advice I've ever been given was from her. And she said, there's no reason to be nervous. And in my brain, I'm like, okay, honey. Yeah, of course, this. Okay. One, you're putting your soul out there for strangers to just rip apart. Really, that's all it feels like, right? Is that you worked all really hard on this audition and you go in there and they just stomp on it in their Louis Vuitton heels and just kick you out your door and there goes your dream. So we put a lot of pressure on it as an actor for sure. But what she told us was, we as casting directors want you to succeed more than you want to succeed, because the moment we cast somebody, our job is done and I can go home and have a glass of wine. That's literally what she told us. She's like, I want every person that walks into that door to be 100% what I want so that I can go home. And then my job is done and it makes my job really easy. She said, so don't put so much pressure on yourself, because you can tell the people who are nervous, right? But the people who walk in are whatever, it's just another day, like me or don't like me, here I am. And they just drop this awesome audition bomb. They're prepared. That was another thing she always said. Always be prepared. Take criticism, but just stop stressing so much, because we want you to succeed as much as more than you want to succeed. And then I started thinking about, because I've been on the other side of the table too, casting stuff. And I had that same thing. I was like, please God, let this next person be awesome. Yep. That's all I want is I actually want you to succeed. I want you to be the best actor ever. So, because I used to think of it as the moment you're walking in, they're instantly judging you, these judgy-wedgy people that are way up here and I'm down here. But after being on the other side, I was like, oh my gosh, it's true. I just want the next person to be awesome so that I can go home. And it's true. So I've kind of gone in there a little differently, and it helps remove some of that stress. If you can just let it go, man, just go in there and do your thing and then go home, mic drop it and be done,
Amen. Amen. And I do remember, because I went to some of those classes. Sometimes I'll do a series, and I'll let you do the first class for free, or $5 as a preview or whatever.
And you do a scene, and then they judge your scene.
Yeah. There are so many podcasts and so many books and so many, even there's just different styles. I've worked with actors who even just acting techniques, you and Ashley Atwood, mind-blowing actress. And you even told me, you said, I think you told me have her audition twice, see her second tape. And I was like, that's kind of a weird thing to ask, but sure, it's fine. You're the lead of the movie and she's your friend. I will take this into heart and I'll let her read twice. And it was funny because her second tape was her first tape was good. You know, I don't even know if I would have necessarily, I might have given her a call back out of curiosity because it was good. her next tape was like, wow. And then all of her in-person stuff, like the chemistry read, was like mind-blowing. And then her final read, because it came down to her and one other person,
right,
who showed up unprepared.
Yep.
And we did, and it was just like, and
late. She showed up hella late.
Yeah. And totally unprepared. Yep. And to be fair, she did apologize. Like, she reached out to me and she was really embarrassed. She was like, look, in hindsight, she was like, that was unprofessional and disrespectful. Like, she apologized and I appreciated that, but she is not part of this project. Yeah. And Ashley's last one, like, she just like sat down and I was like, I'm sorry, are we like on set now?
Yeah. I mean, it does help that Ashley and I are really good friends, although we had never worked together before, which you didn't know. Nope. I think you thought we had worked together. And then when she came in, because I was like, just let her come in and do the read. Because I think after the second reading, you're like, it was really good, but you still weren't sold. But I was like, just let her read with me. Because even though we'd never read together, I knew because I've known her for so long that I was like, this role would be so good for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you just never know about like actual chemistry with people either. Because we've had the opposite problem too, where someone looked amazing on their audition, because the great thing about sending in a video audition, right, is that you can do it a bazillion times and you can also like trim and make it look really great.
Yeah.
But then when you come into person, you're in person, you're like, there's absolutely no chemistry happening between these two people at all.
And there was that one girl who, her tape was amazing and her reads were like good, but like, every time I gave her direction, it felt like she was kind of pushing back. And then she just wouldn't give me any range. Like, I needed to kind of see like how she could move.
It was the same read every single time, no matter what you told her. I remember that, actually. I remember her.
And then I brought her back to tell her why I was sending her home. And I literally said, thank you so much. Because we had her come in, like, this was like the big callback day, like sit there for hours in and out of the room. And I was like, I really appreciated her time and that, it was really great to see her, in person doing it. But that I felt like when I was giving direction or when I was trying to like talk to her about the character, I didn't really feel like it was getting received. And without missing a beat, she literally said, really? I didn't feel like that.
Yeah, I remember that. And I just sat there being like,
and I was like, if I had
seen,
I felt so bad too about like, cause she was good. And I wanted to like, and I was like, you know me.
But most directors don't even do that. They just be like, okay, go tell her that she's done. But instead you were nice enough to come back and be like, hey, this is why you didn't get it. And as an actor, I would thought that would have been great, because so many times you just never hear anything. Like, you just know you didn't get it because you just never hear anything and you don't know why or whatever. It's nice every once in a while when you get an email being like, hey, we're going to go another way, or we're going to go different ethnicity, or we're going to go with somebody shorter or taller or whatever. So that's nice. But at the same time, like, no one brings people in and be like, hey, so this is why we didn't cast you. So, I mean, I think just right off the bat, like, that was really nice of you for even taking the time to do that, because the day was already really long. But for her to be like, no, you're crazy, I'm perfect, was kind of like, hence why you're not in this production. Okay.
And there's a, in the masterclass, I think is it Samuel L. Jackson? I don't know if you've ever seen his masterclass, like on masterclass.
Yeah.
He said, never tell the director in an audition or at any point, I wouldn't do it like that. And he said, because you're right. You won't do it like that because you're not going to get the part.
No. But then also, like, when you say you, that's not the character.
Yep.
Right. And that means that you are too much in your own head and you're not being the character at that time.
Right.
You know, you are making it a decision for you, not for the production or for the character or for the story.
Yep.
So if someone is stopping you and being like, hey, we need you to do it this way, why not? First of all, even if you don't agree with it, why not give it a try? Let's just give it a try. And if it doesn't work, you can go back to doing it the other way, right? But like, if a director, especially in audition, is like, hey, I need you to do it like this, you're going to be like, yes, ma'am. Whatever you say, ma'am. No problem, ma'am. I will also shave my head. Whatever you need. Whatever you need. You know, like, come on.
It's such a funny thing. And like, I know the reason why I mentioned Ash is because I know you guys have two very different acting styles and like ways of approaching it. So like, how do you pick what advice to take? Because like it's like if somebody Googles like how to be an actor, like you're going to die, like your brain will explode. You can't do it. So what do you use as like, what are some good, like, I'm trying to figure out how to make this question make sense. Like for me, I always ask myself, like, does this work for me? Like someone gives me some advice, I try it out, or I think about it. Like if they say you need all your actors to come in wearing pink tutus, I'll be like, that makes no sense. No. But if there's like if they say, oh, do this, this, and this, maybe I'll try it, see what happens. How do you know like what casting directors to listen to, what classes to take, what books to read? Like what guidelines do you use?
Well, I mean, for me, it was a process of trial and error, right? I took, acting classes and theater and all that in college. And then in colleges, they always have like a very specific way of teaching, right? Whether they're finding like Meisner or whatever they're following, method acting, non-method acting, that kind of thing. And I know there's going to be some people listening to this that like completely disagree with me, and that's totally fine. But for me, I don't believe that there is just one way of doing it. And we have great examples of that, of people like award-winning actors who have been in this like thing for 40, 50 years, and they have very different methods. Like one person is super, super method where, they are the character at all times, no matter what. And then there's other people who can instantly go into character on set. And then the moment you say cut, they're done, For me, I've tried both ways. And I think it depends on the character as far as doing, like for me, at least as far as doing method. I cannot, especially if it's a bad situation, I can't live in that headspace and be a healthy, functioning human being. But at the same time, I also need some of that method if I'm doing something crazy and emotional like that. So I can't just turn it off and on. So for me, I do a little of the in between, right? So I've taken the classes for method. I've taken the classes for non-method. I've read all the books. And this was years and years of trial and error, what actually works for me. And I've just kind of found a way to kind of merge the two together, right? So it kind of just depends on the character and what I'm doing. As far as figuring out classes and that kind of stuff, I try to go with very reputable like houses where it's not just like one random, because I think these have actually started to get like banned in California, where you have a casting director and they just have like one random night in like a random hall where you're like, and so that's kind of easy. But you want to go through an actual reputable house that you can go on and read reviews on it first, like read the reviews of other students who have gone there. And then also look up the Better Business Bureau and make sure that casting director is legit. Make sure that house that's providing the casting director or workshop, whatever workshop you're doing, could be acting workshop, whatever, that they're legit. If they have anything against them, don't go. Don't spend your money there. But try to do like the bigger houses that actually have a lot of success stories coming out of it. You are going to pay more money for it, but you're paying for quality. You're paying for people who have been in the business for a really long time. They're getting results from their actors. Like their actors are legitimately booking things, and you can go on and read that kind of stuff. Like everything is now, everything is online, all the good and the bad. So take the time to do your research. And as far as like figuring out what method works, it's all going to be, and again, there's going to be 1,000 people out there that are like, no, Meisner only, which is fine. But find the thing that works for you, because everybody is different and the way that you process things is going to be different. And that's fine. I don't believe that there is one way. I think everyone has their own way. And like you said, figure out what works for you.
Right. Awesome. So I feel like you've already given a ton of advice, but what is good advice that people should take specifically about auditioning and the audition process? I mean, we may have covered that already. Is there anything else you want to add, or you think we covered it?
Things in the audition and the auditioning process. Be prepared, like we said. Mm-hmm. Know what you're getting into before you get into it. Mm-hmm. Do your research, I don't know. I think that's kind of it. There's this other thing where people are like dress for the part kind of thing, like dress up in character. I don't believe in that. I can't tell you. And some of the casting directors I've talked to were being like, I don't need you to come in dressed as the doctor. I don't need that. Right. So like, I just dress what I make myself look good, right? Like wear what you feel, because at the same time, if you go in an uncomfortable outfit or something that you're not comfortable in, it's going to show in your audition. So go in feeling fabulous, like dressed to be successful, right? Because like make clothes your armor, go in feeling confident. And if you have to wear a specific outfit or specific like jewelry or do your hair a specific way to make yourself be as confident as possible, do that, because this is your time. The audition process is your time. And if you need to like, another good advice that I've gotten from a casting director is own the room. Like, go in and own the room, and like, this is your time. So do what you need to do to make it successful. Whether it's like, can we stand it this way or move it this way, or, run this line or do it this way, like ask questions, be involved in your audition, because this is your audition, so don't just walk in and say your lines and run away. Like, be involved, show them that you have done the prep, ask a question. If you have a question, do it in a fun accent, like shake it up, just try to stand out.
No, that's great advice. And that's funny that you said that, because I know that one of the things that gets me is, unless like, there was one we're auditioning for a role, and in the sides, it's a spy movie and the girl's literally tied to a chair. So like, and I remember watching one, because I'm used to this one actress who was auditioning who I'm familiar with, and she's very animated. And I was thinking to myself, why isn't she moving her hands? And then
She's talking about me?
No.
No one can see this in the podcast, but I'm throwing my hands up. I'm also very animated. Just kidding.
But I remember that in the scene, her hands are tied, and that's why she wasn't moving them. But unless it's very specific like that, so many auditions that I've seen where the actors are moving, they're not just standing there. Like, remember that one girl who read with you for the chemistry read on Comic Relief, and she was like, man, like, no, come over here, and she like moved.
Yeah, she was like physically moving me. I was like, what is happening? Like, you first have to ask. So your work. The one thing about that, like movement. So I think one thing about movement is that a lot of auditions that you go to, they tell you not to move because you're on camera, right? So your camera movements have to be a lot smaller than if you're in theater where everything's so much bigger, and they're like, but people are a lot of times just standing here. But really, you do like, and that's part of the thing where I say, ask questions, be like, what's my frame?
Yeah.
Ask them, what is my frame? How big can I move? Like, if they're like, oh, it's just at your face because it's like a really intense thing. All right. But ask, can I move around? Because like you said, no one wants to watch this whole like blah, 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 like read just like straight up and down. We want to see what you're going to do with the character. We want to see the personality of the character. And that is going to come through with your physicality. However, to Cora's point, if you are working with another person, do not touch them unless you have permission to physically touch. Like, if you're working with another reader, don't just grab them and throw them against the wall. Some of us don't like that. Yeah. So if you want to get physical, ask ahead of time. Be like, is it okay if I touch you? Because I'm going to guarantee you, I'm going to say no. So I don't know. You don't touch me. Don't get physical unless you have permission. But yes, move around. Fill up the space. Fill the space.
Be the space.
Be the space. Ask about your frame. I think that's one of the best things I got. Again, in the workshop, they told, because the other classes I took, they're like, you stand there because you're in TV and it's all very small movements. And this one guy was like, no, ask what your frame is. And I was like, oh, I can do that? Yes, you can do that. You can ask all kinds of crazy questions when you go in there. This is your audition. We want you to be awesome. So go in there and like talk. Show us you, be you. And ask, what is my frame? It's like, actually the first thing I ask almost every time is like, what's my frame? How much can I move? Because I am an animated lady and I need to move.
No, that's awesome. That's a great question. So I know we've talked a lot about the auditioning process and auditioning. What are some ways that you prep for a role? So like, you've passed the audition, you've been cast, woohoo, you're great, you're ready. Now what?
Well, the first thing I do is, once I get the full script, I read the full script out of character. I just want to read the script, and I want to see how other people react to my character. Because when I see how other people react to my character, it actually helps me make my character a little bit more, because I could read just my character's lines and think, oh, well, she's this person. And that's just like one side of an argument, right? So, but every relationship is two people. So I want to read the script first and just see how other people react to her. So I might say something that I think is snarky and funny, but when I read the script and I see that someone actually takes great offense to it, well, maybe that means I'm going to deliver the line completely differently due to the reaction of the people. But first, I just try to go in and read the script completely without any sort of like, this is my character, this is how I want to go with her, blah, blah, blah. Then I'll go back and kind of figure out all the different relationships and the dynamics of everybody. And then I go in and try to actually become her and feel like, you know, how is she reacting to things? How are people reacting to her? And like really just start like absorbing her as a character, I guess you could say. And then once I've absorbed and decided the way that I want to present it and be her, I then start memorizing, because as soon as I can get off the page, the more things will come organically. And I am very blessed in that I have an excellent memory. So remembering lines is very easy for me. Knock on wood. Whatever. So it's nice to be able to, because then you get it off the page and then you can be more fluid with your character. Everything starts coming more organically. And then you can kind of change up and feel, you know, how is, you know, well, maybe I want to change it this way or say this differently or whatever. But I try not to be really stuck on how I'm going to say things or do things until I start working with my co-stars, because acting is all about listening. You know, it's all about, I'm going to deliver this line and they're going to listen about how I said it. And then I'm going to watch their reaction. And then I'm going to play off of that reaction. So there's only so much you can prep for on your own. So the moment you can start working with your co-stars is a blessing, because the more organic everything is going to come, the more you guys are going to have a better chemistry, you know, but really, I mean, like I said, I just like to start off as kind of a blank slate. Like I don't try to go in there with any sort of preconceptions of everything, even though I've been through the audition process and I kind of understand the character, until you actually can get cast in it and you can wrap your brain around it, really take the time to process, you know, then I'll start breaking everything down. But I try not to do that until we're well into the prepping process.
That's some great advice.
Which you probably didn't know, even though we've done so many projects together. That's how I prep for my projects. Just so you know, Cora.
I actually didn't know that. So I was listening. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because you do, like, every time I've worked with you, it's like this really perfect balance of like ready without being like cast in stone to where you can't move. Like, you know, if you say something one way and there's direction to go another way, like you'll flex with that, but it's within the parameter of your character. And it's, yeah, I mean, you're great to work with, but,
right back at you, girl.
This is a nepotistic podcast. This is one of my favorite.
That's right. Friends only.
But no, I mean, honestly, that's why, I mean, you know, I've got like endless respect for you, and because we are friends, I'm very lucky, because I know like you'll be real with me. Like I'll ask you questions and I'll be like, did I mess up? Like, is this something I should do differently or whatever? Like as a director, and I want like an actor's perspective of someone who I trust to tell me, yes, Cora, you go apologize to them right now. Like, because you will tell me.
Stop overthinking it and just go. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's right.
I was going to say, thankfully, I don't think you've ever said that to me, which isn't a good.
No.
But you, for anyone listening to this, like Merri's a good person to listen to as an actress, because like, not only are you so talented, but you're so professional. And it isn't just about like being nice because you want people to be nice to you. It's because you genuinely respect the people that you're working with. And like you said, you know, we've had run-ins with, you know, a certain other person, or with, you know, another production person or whatever, where it's like awkward or weird, or where they maybe weren't the best person to be working with. And even when you tell me about it, it's always in a professional capacity. Like, you need to know this because blah. Like, I think the reason it took you a year to tell me about that other person was because I mentioned that I was going to be hiring them for something. And you were like, I just think you should know this. And that's something else. Like, if you are a major creative part of a project and you hear that someone's going to be coming on that project that you happen to know isn't necessarily going to be a great fit, or you've seen them cause problems in the past, because when you're on set, there's no time. Like, you have every second is accounted for. Like you said, like a great set, you really become a family. Like, everybody's hanging out before and after. Even before COVID, you know, we'd wrap for the day. And then I remember like Louisiana, like everyone's sitting out there, like, you know, drinking and hanging out and like whatever. And Alex was there watching, making sure that the drinking was like a beer or two and not like anything crazy. And when it got like, you know, people started reaching for a third, he just like quietly put it away, you know, like. I've also been on projects where it's so tight. We make a rule like, okay, we're only going to be here for a week, no drinking. Like, and if you can't go a week without a drink, then you need more help we can offer you. So please talk to somebody about that. But hopefully for 7 days, we're able to just focus on this project, and then, you know, we'll come back. But generally, like, there is a balance between holding on to the character, holding on to your take on the character, and you collaborating with it while also being respectful and professional, while also being prepared, while also understanding the collaboration, not just with the writer and the director, but with your scene partners, like with the other characters, with the story. And you walk that line so perfectly. I really feel like I'm lucky to work with you, like, because it's nice. Like, I know, like, it's just like one thing to not worry about. It's like, okay, Merri, okay, good. So that's going to be fine. So now I'll worry about this thing over here.
Well, at least one person's coming to work prepared. Yeah, that's me. I do get so mad though when I've spent so much time preparing, and this is a job. We're supposed to be doing this. This is like and I just don't get it, because it's like any other career. Like, you wouldn't come to work unprepared. Right. Why would you come to set unprepared? So I take great offense when like my co-stars and stuff come, because it's insulting to me. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my time, it's a waste of your time, it's a waste of everybody else who's on set. And if you're going to be in this profession, you need to take it seriously. This is not fun times, High School Musical. We're not just like dancing around having fun. Like, that's not what being on set is. It's thousands, if not millions of dollars of other people's money. That time racks up. Like, if you're on a SAG project and you go over that 8 hours, that is automatically double time, and then like triple time and a half. Like that money racks up fast. And so that puts strain on the production. It can actually close a production down if too much money is wasted on people being unprepared. So, just take it seriously, So I appreciate that, Cor. It's really nice. I do take a lot of time to prepare myself. That's for sure.
You're awesome at it. I know you said that memory is a blessing for you. And do you have any tips for memorizing lines? Like, is there any sort of method that you find works, or is it just kind of like do what works for you and there is no science to it?
I have kind of a photographic memory. So I remember almost everything I've ever written or read. Like, I take a photo of it in my brain and so I can like file through it and like bring it back up. But so I'm a little bit of a,
a savant.
Like, I got a really great memory. It's kind of like all I got going for me here. So, like, just pull that stuff right up. I think, and then practice, right? Practice where you're not distracted. You need to focus on it. One of the things that I like to do is I record, like if I'm working on a certain scene, I will record my scene. If I can't work with my scene partner, I will record their lines on like my phone. I'll read my lines kind of quietly so I know how long I want to have it. And then I'll read their next line on recorder. And I will put them in like earpods in my ear, and I'll walk around my house having this dialogue with this other person, whether I'm holding it in my hand or not, but it's like a constantly running through it. Sometimes writing things down also helps, right? So if I'm having a really hard time remembering something, writing it down as I'm saying it. So I'll be listening to the my co-star's lines, and then I'll say or like write it down, and it just helps me like take that picture and remember it in my mind. That's rare. Usually it's just I like have it recorded, and then I'm reading the line and then reading the line. And then as I go through, I don't have to do it. And then I can even do it in traffic, which I know everyone in LA loves to watch actors do their lines while they're sitting at a red light, waiting for them to go. To be fair, I don't think I've ever had to be honked at for it, because it's almost like listening to a podcast, right? So you're like listening to a podcast and then responding to said podcast. So, so I do that, but like, I try not to be too animated at that stoplight, to be sure. But it just kind of reminds me of like every movie ever about LA is you see somebody like sitting in a convertible being like, no, you can't handle the truth, and then someone's looking over like, actors. But that's us for sure. Yeah. That's why if I'm really struggling, or if I'm like I have a lot of projects going on at once and I'm trying to remember like a bunch of different things and places I have to be at, that kind of helps to just kind of do that. But usually I get enough time, even just like sitting in bed instead of reading a book at night, I'll read the script. I don't know. I feel like it's an unfair question because I have an unfair memory advantage, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I know Spacey, that's like the one thing about acting for him. He's like, how do you remember all the lines? And I'm like, I don't know. You just remember them.
That's right. People are like I think Happy Valley, because I was the lead in Happy Valley, it was like 100 pages or something like that. And I had lines on almost every page. There's like maybe like 2 scenes that I'm not in. Yeah. And I showed it to my sister. She's like, and there's just like yellow lines everywhere. And she's like, how on earth do you memorize this? And like comic relief, same kind of thing. Like I have, especially because we're doing the comic, like the scenes where I'm telling jokes and there's like chunks of lines and stuff. And so I don't know. I mean, I actually kind of find the challenge fun. Like it's kind of, like a challenge for me to go over it. It is hard though when you've spent so much time memorizing stuff and then before you get on set, they hand you the rewrite. And you're like, and you get these couple little pages like stapled together with rewrites in it. And you're like, this is not fair. Like, am I getting a bonus for remembering everything like 2 seconds before I go on the set? So I think you just get, you get used to doing that kind of stuff. Like, I think it's just practice makes perfect. If you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. So the more you do it, the easier it is.
Yeah. That's been I just do the straight, like, say the line, like read the line, remember, like I do like the like memorizing type thing and like just saying it over and over again. And that's just been my thing. But even then it's weird. I heard, I forget who it was, some famous actor who said this. It was something like, learn your lines so that you can forget your lines until you're just saying the lines. Yeah. Or something like that.
That's why I like to memorize it in conversation.
Yeah. And I do the same thing. Like I never thought of tape. That's really smart. Actually, I never thought of taping the reverse. I just have the paper.
It's almost like it's my job, right? Like I have good ideas.
You're good at your job. But yeah, no, that's brilliant. Cause it is like, and that's two of the biggest directions we give. I mean, aside from go watch the Michael Caine School of Acting regarding the difference between stage acting and film acting. That's like the number one note that we give is listen between, like, not listen to me, listen to your scene partner. Like when you're not talking, you are still in character. Because so many times we'll have like performance while they're talking. And then they're like a doll waiting for the next line. Performance while they're talking. And then like a doll waiting for the next line.
Yeah.
And it's acting.
You're acting at all times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're always in character until the director says cut. And that's from Joe, actually. His advice to actors. And that to me was like, it's true. Like learn your lines until you're just saying them. You're not saying lines.
Because you don't want to be acting it, right? Like you say this until it's like normal conversation for sure.
Yeah. So those are actually all my questions.
Nice.
Anything else that you want to add? Anything you want to throw out there? I know we covered a lot. Anything I didn't cover? I tried to think of everything in the questions.
To be honest, like one of the, just a little note to actors out there. For me, I always just wanted to act. That's the only part of the production I ever wanted to have anything to do in. And so that's what I did for a really long time, was just focus on acting. But then at one point in my life, I was like, because after I went on like my first really big set, I was like, God, there are so many people involved in actually making this work. And I wanted to know what life was like on the other side. And so it was a big eye opener for me having to deal with actors. And I was like, oh my God, we're horrible people. Like, this is like, oh my, I'm like, am I like, so I started doing, I like talked to some friends who were putting stuff together or whatever. And I kind of worked my way up as well. Like I would be acting, but then also wanted to do some back stuff. So I did wardrobe, as you know, and then I did some makeup things. I did set design. I was a production assistant. And then I worked my way up to being an actual producer on a feature film. And oh my God, all I wanted to do was punch actors like the whole time. Right. So like managing the egos was intense. And like, I only eat pistachios when I'm on set, like that kind of an attitude. Right. Or like, I have a different audition for something else that's even bigger. I'm going to be 2 hours late. And then it's like, okay, well, you're not going to be in the production anymore. So I think I ended up being a little more harder on my fellow actors, because as someone who is also an actor, I was like, this attitude is deplorable. Like, how on earth are we getting away with this crap? Because yes, we are the quote unquote talent. But as someone who was also on the other side, I was like, you would be standing in the middle of the street naked if you didn't have any of these other people who are involved in this production. Like, what are you thinking? Like, again, this isn't about you, right? Like a production is a production because we have 1,000 people working on it together, not one random actor. So it kind of really opened my eyes in that, again, that whole be nice to everybody thing. But at the same time, I would encourage other people who are in this business to try, if you just wanted to be an actor, try doing stuff on the other side. Try sitting in that casting chair. Try organizing catering for 100 people, including actors who all claim to have some sort of dietary indiscretion, but really you're just being a dramatic person. And tell me how fun that is. And I guarantee you, the next time you go on set as an actor, you will have nothing but gratitude, and it will change you as an actor as well, because having gratitude for something makes you want to be better in it. Right? Like, you're thankful for being cast in this. You're thankful for the makeup person. You're thankful for your costumer who was doing everything she can to make you look fabulous. You're thankful for the director for giving you the opportunity. And I think it just really helps because egos run rampant in this industry. So I think it really helps bring us down and realize, again, it's not about us. And this production wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all the hundreds of people who are working steadfast behind the scenes. And so I encourage anyone who just wants to be an actor to try out some of those other behind the scene things if you can, because it'll give you a much more appreciative look at being able to be the talent who gets to sit in the chair and fall asleep while your makeup is being put on, I think that's just like my last little bit of advice, to try everything in this industry, because it's a fabulous industry when done right. I
agree. No, that's fantastic advice. And it always helps when you walk a couple steps in someone else's shoes, you know? I send out like a survey that says like, what are your dietary restrictions? What are your requests? And I say, what would you like to have? We will try to accommodate the likes, but like you can try, but when someone does do the, like, I only eat the this and this, and it's kind of like, okay, is this like medical? Like, do you need this? Or is this like, you're like, where, please tell me how to prioritize.
Well, it's just funny to see that, like, you can have a crew of 200 people and all of them are like, I don't care, just feed us. Right. And then you have 5 actors and each one of them magically has something different. So it's like, if I can feed 200 people the same thing and they're totally chill with it, they will make it work. But then you have the talent who all have to have 13,000 different things, like you have to start questioning that, I get 200 people to make it work for them without one complaint. Yeah. And I have 5 people who I've ordered special meals for, and there's a problem with every one of them. Yeah. Like, there's a problem there. Oh,
1,000%. And to be fair, usually bigger productions, like when you're at like that many cast and crew, you have a full catering. Like,
you have a full catering kit for sure.
Like a sandwich. Yeah. Lunch is like you have salads and meat and fruits and vegetables. Yeah. Like there's so many things.
I remember I was on set for Kingdom. There's like this show Kingdom, and it's all about like MMA fighters or whatever. So I was on that set was amazing, by the way. On that set, I had a fantastic day. I had my own trailer. It was awesome. It's probably that's another one of great experiences of my life. Although I was nude in that one. So no one go look me up in that, because otherwise you just get to see the girls. But that was a fantastic day on set. By the way, when you do topless scenes, people cater to you like crazy, because I'm pretty sure they don't want to be sued. So like the moment it says cut, they're like, here's your robe, Miss Jamison. What can we make? Is everyone making you feel comfortable? Like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, if I wasn't comfortable sitting by a pool without my top on, I wouldn't be here. Like literally I got paid like $1,300 to sip drinks by the pool all day. And I was like, I'm cool on a closed set. So the catering was insane. Like there was like 7 different tables. Like one table was just meat that was being like grilled up right there. We had a cheese table that was just full of cheese. We had a smoothie booth where you could go and ask for any kind of smoothies you want. There was a table just for salads. So to your point, for sure there is that. But I think part of that is just because there's so many like dietary things. But working in small, like working in indie things, the same kind of thing. If you have a legitimate diet thing, I get that. I have a lot of family members who have like legitimate dietary issues, but to be a pain, just to be a pain and be a like drama llama about it. Like if you're on a budget, if you're getting paid to be there, first of all, try to be as accommodating as possible, right? Like I can make this work. I can pick off this. It's really not that big of a deal, right? Like, just, be chill,
be zen. It's
just be cool. You're making a movie. Well, what else could you want in life, right? Like just be chill.
Very first time, I think I was on, I want to say it was CSI New York. I was standing there looking around and I thought to myself, this is my job. This is what I'm being paid to do. And I was very young. This was a long time ago. And I was like, I'm like, how I feel right now I need to never forget that. I need to never walk on set and not feel the way I feel right now with that rush of the breakfast burrito cart and the coffee and the half hungover grips with the cigarettes hanging out of their mouths. And
best. And I feel really special whenever I get a walkie. I'm like, yes, I've made it. I have a walkie.
It's such an amazing experience making movies. Like, we get to do this for a living. And I don't know, whenever I focus on that, it's hard to not be thankful or to not feel so grateful for everybody who is putting so much of their time in. And honestly, like, working with great talent, I've worked with the entire range, as you know, of the amazing at the top down through I'm sorry, I will not work with them again. And it's so amazing when you're working with incredible people on an amazing project. And so, yeah, I'm thankful for you. I'm so glad that you were down to like kind of share your experience. We're trying to do more podcasts now. So I'm just happy that we were able to cover all this. I hope it was useful to everybody listening. And I love you. You're amazing, Merri.
Oh, I love you too. I was so excited that you asked me. I really appreciate you wanting to be on here. I hope everyone who's listening has learned something and that you're not just like, oh, this woman. But I appreciate being on here and letting me share my woes of good and bad. Because Lord knows, after 18 years in the biz, there's definitely been some questionable choices I have made. But we learn from all of those choices, right? And we get to make great friends, just like you. So I'm very, very thankful for every project you let me come on, even if it's just my face where I have to look sad. Like I just am very, lots of gratitude and thankfulness to you and Spacey for letting me be part of your projects. So,
well, we're lucky to have you. So. Not only is Merri an absolutely amazing actress, and you should cast her in all of your projects because she is phenomenal and you will be thankful to have her. But she also makes these absolutely mind-blowingly phenomenal skincare products. They are all vegan, unless otherwise noted, organic, all natural, hand mixed, handmade deodorant, face soaps, lotion bars. She is not paying me to say this. My bathroom.
I don't have any money, so absolutely not.
My bathroom is literally full of her soap and her lotion. And I once went to Sundance without her lotion, and I had to have her overnight me some stuff because my skin was not having it. And literally within minutes of getting it on my hands, the cracking healed up, and I was able to function for the rest of the festival. So check her out, All in a Fizzy on Instagram. You can see all her great stuff and DM her. She also does like glass etching and wood burning. This woman's just insanely talented. Just have her in your life because it will.
I don't do idle. I don't do idle and I don't do halfway. So that's very sweet. So yeah, look me up, check me up. Yeah, taking bookings, all that fun stuff. Self-promotion. There you go.
Yeah. And you, do you want to share like your personal socials or?
Yeah, you guys can look me up. I'm on IMDb or Instagram. It's Merri 9, just the number 9 on Instagram. So Merri 9. And then on IMDb, it's just my name, Merri, and then Jamison, like the whiskey, but with an I.
Woohoo! And that's it for this conversation with Merri Jamison. And we want to thank her so much for coming on the show. But we can keep the conversation going because if you go to patreon.com/spacedreamfilms for as little as $1.99, you can get involved and learn a lot more about filmmaking there. The podcast will always be free, so no worries there. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop talking now. Bye. Well, actually, I'm going to talk again because I do the outro. So here I am. You've been listening to Filmmaking Actually with Cora Linda, Space Dream Productions podcast. Subscribe to us on any or all the podcast platforms, but we especially recommend our sponsor, Anchor. If you like what you hear, leave us 5-star ratings and positive reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. It helps more listeners like you discover the show. But the best thing you can do if you really like the show is tell a friend. Want to leave a comment or ask a question? Email at filmmakingactually@gmail.com. This is Spacey speaking, and remember,
you actually were telling the truth. I do that quite a lot. Yet people are always surprised.
And we'll see you next time.